Tyler. So I received notice from someone who is at least trying to help regarding the flag, and we're grateful that someone has been relaying messages about a solution. However, the people who came up with the solution offered to simply put a grandfather's replacement flag in the mail. And since you received the original flag at the ceremony that was held almost, well, probably a couple years ago at this point, and it was taken back, how do you feel about not the people who tried to help by letting me be heard, but someone who said the solution can be putting it in the mail? How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm thankful for anybody giving a solution, at least partially, but I would hope that there's a way that there can be like somebody give it to me or you in their hand, or somebody else in our family who was like close to our grandpa, because I really would like for it to be resolved properly, because it really made me upset to be at the funeral and hear that they need the flag back, because I've never heard of a loaner flag before. We didn't even know that that was a thing or that it was going to happen to us.
How long have you been volunteering to help homeless veterans, elderly veterans, disabled veterans, and anyone you can through fundraisers, giving out supplies from Maryland, Baltimore, all around, and at this point in different areas of the United States for different reasons?
Well, since I've been 4, and I'd hope that because of all that, the least something that the least somebody could do was give us a flag. It's not even like I really want anything for it. It's just that I thought that came with my father's burial.
Well, your grandfather was like a father, right?
Yeah.
And he was your only grandparent, right?
And
I know you were very close to him.
And I was already upset because I couldn't even see him, like be there with him as he died, because we were getting ready to make arrangements to go to Maryland. And because of COVID, apparently he reached his limit of visitors or something like that. And then some of our family were still going,
but also children weren't even allowed to come in.
Yeah, so even if my mom and my uncle or a couple other people did get to go, I couldn't go.
Right, so really the flag was a pretty big deal. And I know I saw your face when you received it. You were hoping to keep it.
Yeah, because I was thinking, well, here's my grandpa's flag, and I was thinking of like where I could put it or something. And then all of a sudden somebody walks up talking about they need it back, and I was thinking, well, I thought we get to keep the flag, and I was correct, because that's how I saw it done everywhere else, because I've watched a ton of military funeral burials and everything from YouTube to real life, and I've never seen that before.
What is something that you would want to see improved? Since you're a child, you were 9 at the time, now you're 11. Is there anything that you would tell adults about handling a situation like this?
Well, yes, certainly, and one of them would be to make sure, number one, make sure that you warn the family, because my other uncle, who didn't even get a warning while planning my grandfather, well, I called him my father, but he's really my grandfather on the family tree, but didn't even get a warning about him not being able to get a flag. We just got there, the ceremony gets over with, and there's somebody there waiting at the door to take the flag away, which really, really hurt my feelings, because I was hoping to keep it. And yeah, that was really upsetting to me.
But as a child, do you feel that there could be any improvement so this hopefully doesn't happen to more people? And even kids like yourself, they might have a grandpa, grandma, or some relative, and I'm sure you wouldn't want them to feel upset. Do you have any feelings, any feedback about that, even as a child?
Well, yes. I mean, number one, especially for kids like me and myself, when somebody in your family passes away, it's really traumatic. And I'm sure it's the same way for adults also. But it affects us kids even more because of how young we are. And to be honest, some of us don't even really understand death. I don't even understand it fully yet. So, to be honest, it's really upsetting when after all of that, you can't even get a flag just to remember your loved ones. It's really upsetting.
Right. So even if someone puts it in the mail, let's go back to that one last time. Is there any other solution that you would like to see happen to prevent a possible mix up like this for another family?
Well, yes, certainly. I believe that, maybe if there's better communication between the family who's planning it or the person, it depends, or whoever, sometimes there's funeral planners who get hired. I feel like there should be more communication because we didn't, like I said earlier, we didn't even know that this was going to happen. We just get to the funeral and just like that, it's gone. So that was really upsetting, and now we don't even have a flag to remember him with. All we have is memories.
How do you feel about veterans? Just to recap for people who don't know anything about you, why have you volunteered as a kid?
Well, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but when I was 4, I saw a video, and then long story short, I wanted to help veterans because I felt it wasn't right that they were on the street. And then just like that, Give Back to Veterans was formed. And actually, partially, my grandpa inspired and helped while he was well enough to until he had a stroke. But yeah, and it was really crucial that he was there because, to be honest, he's one of the biggest people who helped me start it as far as inspiration. And it was really helpful, and I feel that all veterans should be treated especially nice. I'm not saying that anybody should be mistreated, but especially veterans because they literally fought. And I mean, just the other day I saw a World War II veteran crying on YouTube because he was mad about like what America's come to after all of the fighting, and he was crying talking about how him and other people in America and other countries who helped America, they didn't fight for this. They fought for independence in our country.
All right. Well, thank you for your feedback. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.